The resident apparently moved out last March. The ex-wife stayed there longer. Well, it says, I'm writing to request forgiveness of payment for the billing cycle. I believe he's looking for forgiveness of the September one. And any time after that billing cycle for the property at, it's a North Main Street address. He moved from Cattaraugus on March. He enclosed a copy of his driver's license as proof of his residency and resided there since March 31st. He paid the, I think it was June bill, even though he resided at the property only through the later part of March. After he moved, he was under the assumption his ex-wife would have turned the utility off when she vacated. Just learned that that is not the case. So she's, by the billings I've been sent, I can see there's been no usage. And he would like forgiveness of the balance owing on his property.
And why did he not come in to shut it off when he left?
Because apparently the ex-wife was still there. He did send a note, with the letter he sent a form to turn off the service in October. And
so in October,
so he's looking, yeah, he didn't get a bill for December. He's looking for forgiveness of the, I believe it's the September bill.
Yeah.
That was the only other thing that I had.
Everything else all good for our clerk and our deputy clerk?
Yeah, everything's going well. The terminations were done. I'm trying to communicate to people not to forget their December and January payments. I don't have plans unless the board tells me to send another notice to them. I didn't have plans to send another billing. They've already received multiple billings telling them of the past due amounts, and they have the termination notice that details the payments. John did those last week. Last week he did those terminations. Because after the 10-day notice, we had to give them another 5-day notice.
Did people come in and pay?
Nobody's come in that's been shut off yet.
Okay.
And all the town residents are getting charged $5 a day?
I will have to figure out how to do that, but yes, they will be. If John can't turn them off. So I'm assuming the ones he hasn't turned off are the ones that he can't turn off.
Even if they are turned off, they're getting charged, right? If they have a...
no, there's a, Jay made a differentiation between that.
Can't turn them off. They shouldn't be billed.
If the village can't turn it off, they're not being billed. I'm going to have to look again at his email to see how he
turn them
explained
off,
it.
we're not initiating, or they're not being charged a $5 penalty thereafter. But if they're still receiving water and we can't shut them off, then yes, there's the $5.
We're not taking any late fee on any accounts that have money owed on them.
I mean, is my kind of favoritism?
They get their quarterly penalty.
Right.
Okay. But they are getting charged a late fee penalty for not paying it, even though it's off.
That $5 fee, I'm going to have to look at Jay's email again to make sure that I apply it to the correct accounts.
Right.
Okay, but even if they don't get the $5...
He said that there was a difference. That
Yes, there is. Because of how much you can penalize.
Yeah.
One.
But when you asked that in the email about the $5, he split it out and explained which ones get the $5 fee.
Right, but I thought I emailed him back and asked him why we aren't penalizing the ones that still owe a balance, even though they're off. You know what I mean?
Because we can't shut off. We can't.
But they still owe us money.
Right, but we can't do those monthly penalties.
Right.
We can only do the quarterly penalty.
Wasn't the argument was they're getting, I can't remember exactly what that, but the argument was they are paying, can't remember what exactly, so I remember him
Are
saying.
you talking about town residents or are you talking about village?
Town residents, that they're paying the fees and the charges.
Yeah. If they're still receiving the service.
You can't hammer and give them another $5 because it's like double dipping, double billing, double penalizing or whatever. I'm not exactly what it did say about it.
Yeah, there was a concern about how much penalty we could issue on a customer.
Yeah.
Right. Which was, I thought, was it?
Which was the monthly penalties.
Right.
Right, the $5 penalty, I've got to look at it again.
Yes.
And I've got to, I will apply that, but we only do a quarterly billing.
Mhm.
So there's no way for me to do billings in between the quarterly billings, cause we only bill quarterly. So I've gotta track that differently.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. You're good, Rose?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go through correspondence. New York State Homes and Community Renewal Annual Performance Report. New York State Department of Transportation, procedures for consultation with public officials in rural areas. What was that one about, Rose? Do you remember?
That's the second one. They invite you and your staff to review and comment on DOT's current procedures for consultation
Oh,
with
that's
public
right.
officials. There was a website that you can go to look at that. And they're looking for your input and assistance.
Alright, Historic Cattaraugus Corporation, Santa was on December 11th, wedding contest was on 13th. Do they still have the lighting contest?
I didn't hear that they didn't. I didn't hear any further input about.
Okay, Cattaraugus Area Historical Society, Cattaraugus Museum, inviting everybody to go and take a look at that. Continue to warm welcome everybody, as you saw. They put up a nice little Christmas decorations out in the museum. Had a tree and lights. Time Warner expiring agreements, same thing. The Village Fonzie and NOI and the release of funds, we've already discussed that with Jay. Same with MDA Consulting Engineers, which was the NEPA review, we discussed that. And then New York State DEC talking about the first land bank, which is on Franklin Street in Olean.
No.
Isn't that land bank?
Nope.
What was,
That's site contamination.
didn't we receive one for the land bank?
We received something from Cat County Legislature about the comprehensive plan.
Oh, we received something about the land bank.
There is no land bank in Cattaraugus County.
They're working on one, but they
I thought
don't
there
have
was
one
something.
yet.
They are working on
I
one,
thought
we
we
haven't
received-
heard whether or not our application has been approved.
Oh, we haven't?
This was the site contamination.
Oh, yeah.
There's 3 sites in Olean being cleaned up, 2 of them are on the Superfund list done by EPA. I don't know which one this is, but it's being done by a private
It's,
developer.
yeah, Franklin Street site in Olean.
Yeah, okay, well, I apologize if I was wrong on that, some land bank, but it wasn't. But we're,
Not yet,
do you know how much longer we'll hear until we have it, they'll give us a decision on
we'll
it?
hear when the state tells us.
So whenever.
You wanna give me a timeline for the state to respond? Anybody wanna?
Oh, I'll do
Yes.
that, sure. Next up, Cattaraugus County, the seeker lead agency designation, the Cat County Comprehensive Plan, had ecology environment engineering, 2015 groundwater monitoring report. And then we have received an email from Jody Miller pertaining to extending Tom Patterson's probationary period.
Why didn't we talk about that before we voted on
And what,
this email?
in regards to what, we've already discussed it through and through. I don't think that there's really any point in rehashing or going over everything in regards to it.
Well, no, I'm just wondering why we didn't talk about this before we decided to take it to a vote.
Which part? Are you talking?
Ending the probation.
We've already done that multiple times. Like what, you mean to end the probation period now and just have him be full-time?
Isn't that what you just did?
No.
What did you do?
No, he's our ORC, he's
He just made him ORC, even though he's in a probationary period, he can be made ORC, he's still in the probation.
So he signs the water reports, right?
yeah.
See, I thought when he was made to be the ORC, or water operator, that ended his probation. As soon as you did that, I'm almost positive that ends his probation.
Well, interesting point. We agreed to that, but when we came out and we voted on it, there's nothing in writing on that, so it still runs to the 20th
Correct,
of January,
correct.
probationary period.
But if you talk to civil service,
All it is the title, all he's doing is.
right, I get that, but by doing that, because if you talk to civil service, he only has to serve 12 weeks in probation. After 12 weeks, we as a board can end that probation at any time. And by making him the water operator, now, because now he's gonna be a water operator instead of the trainee,
Yeah.
I think that ends his probation.
You know, his probation with the contract that we have with the village is for the 6 months.
You-
I spoke with, who did we go back and forth with?
We emailed Mallory.
And
Now-
I understand it ends on the 20th of January. No.
Well, that's the way it was, is the way we voted for it originally,
Originally, that when he.
to go to the 20th, or the 6-month period. But I'm almost positive in my conversation the last time with Mallory, when he goes from being a trainee to the water operator, that ends his probation.
As far as I'm
I
aware
don't
of,
know
no.
that.
You might wanna talk to her.
I can go in and fire up my computer and pull up the email.
You
Might
can
wanna-
submit, you can forward the emails to them in regards to that if they want it, that's fine.
Because that's why I voted no, because
Yeah, 'cause,
that, I think that ends his probation.
well, I didn't vote because it ended his probation, all it did was, I was voting that it was getting the title. That's what I thought we were voting.
Right, and that's why I
But-
was,
But it didn't vote, but my understanding was is that it didn't end his probation ran.
Well, the 6 months still stands.
well, you gotta remember though, his probation goes for a water operator trainee. Now you just took the trainee and made him the full-fledged water operator, is what I'm saying. So I think that ends his probation.
As far as I'm aware of, no.
Oh, you mean, they don't. I thought it was
Because she said that it's the title, but his probation is still active until what the agreement was from what we set it for. Or what the, I guess you could say bargaining agreement or sign
We
on
can
was.
look into it, but what
I
I'm
think
saying
we
is,
ought to just check, just,
yeah, but, you know, that's not what we voted for. All we're doing is voting for is the title.
well, that's where I was confused.
Yeah. I'll go for that, I get there too.
Alright, so the old business, we went to joint planning board, that's taken care of, we approved of that. Water project, municipal solutions, already discussed that. Old elementary, still needs to say for a later date, after the budget, or during the budget, when we can talk to Jake O'Connell and associates. Bo, you and Jay are, following up with us in regards to trash pickup at some point in time?
Some point in time,
Public committee, still waiting on public interest. I haven't heard anything. Rose, have you received anything yet?
On the committees, no, nobody else has signed up.
Zoning board of appeals appointments, still have nobody, has anybody reached out that they were interested? I asked a couple and they said no, so.
Keep
So-
asking.
Keep asking, I suppose. Time Warner draft, cable draft franchise agreement, I did send an email to Time Warner in regards to that, haven't heard anything back. Don't know if I will, I would assume I would,
Yeah,
they
They
should.
should.
I sent that, I think I sent it like Wednesday or Thursday actually, so might not have.
yeah, I might give them a couple
This
more
is
days.
where we went from 3% to 6.
Yeah. Okay, Cat County Treasurer's Office requests partial interest. Is that not resolved? For that property
I
on,
thought we agreed to take it,
yeah,
that's down.
Right, I didn't,
or wait,
because,
what was it that Michael said?
Mike came and he wants, the town wants us to take the whole thing, but they need, an easement to get to that bridge to work on it.
Yeah, the
Have a
attorneys
nice
need to,
Christmas.
the attorneys need to talk it over.
Yeah,
That's right.
Because the town, they've been talking to Simmons, and they need to clarify what they need to do with Simmons so that they maintain either an easement or ownership in the property, so that they can do the required work on the property,
on the bridge.
on the culvert. yeah.
It's still on old business that we're waiting for them to,
It-
the attorneys are to follow up, that's something that Jay would
It's-
cover.
It's old business because it's still in
It hasn't been closed yet.
process.
Now, also with the parking lot down by the Crawford Motel or Hotel,
Well,
still waiting on the Historic Society, I guess, which was Fritz. their attorney to get with Jay,
Cat Historic Corporation or the Historical Society?
whoever Fritz represents. I'm not sure.
Okay, I think that's Historical
Historical
Corporation.
Cattaraugus.
Historic Cattaraugus Corp.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
historic, whatever. Anyways,
Should not be that hard.
Jay has reached out to Fritz multiple times, and I believe now he's actually in the process of drafting up a lease agreement to propose and say here, because we have to have that, because then we gotta call Hannah and add that onto our insurance policy, and then we can go ahead and build it. Right now's a great time to do it, but we're just waiting on things to go through, and obviously with what's transpired last week with, you know, that's been, that's probably on the back burner primarily, which is
Okay,
understandable.
so the lease agreement is being prepared by the village attorney
Yeah, and for
for review.
review, and to give the, and you know, then Fritz has to look at it and then gives the nod, and if they something, then we can go move forward.
You're gonna have to, obviously give us some time, but get with Colleen, because the last I talked to her, it's probably gonna be a no-go now.
Why is that?
Apparently something was changed in the works, that you didn't understand what they were asking or something, so maybe you wanna get with her before you get with the insurance and all that.
Well, no, we can't until the agreement's actually signed, but Fritz hasn't even been responsive in regards to it, so, and now with what's happened, obviously,
Yeah, no, I know, but
they're not gonna be so.
also she told me something about, things got twisted at the portion and they weren't happy with what we were.
Well, cause they don't wanna have a lease agreement, they just want a good old boy handshake that,
Oh, right, yeah.
that we're gonna do this, well, we can't do that, it's just, you can't, so.
Falls apart and everybody starts suing.
Hopefully, it works out, because I think it's a great thing for both business, the whole district itself, but anyway, so that's still on hold. For new business, employee handbook, we're not gonna discuss that tonight, procurement policy review, didn't we go over?
That's all done, ain't it?
Yeah, I didn't know if
That should be removed.
is that the motions that we did last?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I didn't know. I thought you were going to start and rewrite, okay.
What's the proposed water law addendum maintenance fees?
That's the rural water, New York rural water?
Oh, rural water, we're still, I haven't heard anything on that.
Nope.
Has anybody, John, have you?
No.
No, okay. Alright, so do I have a motion then to approve the abstract?
I'll make it.
I'll second it. Okay.
All in favor?
Alright, so,
Bert and Bo?
All those in favor?
I'm a little adjacent down there too.
alright, so, words,
Bert and Bo.
word, yeah.
Okay.
First, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried, approved. And I'll make the motion for adjournment
What?
at.
Well,
What?
I just wanted to make a point here, because of the season.
Oh.
Somebody put up a Christmas tree over here.
oh, yeah.
And decorated
Yes,
it.
yes.
Good job,
And
boys.
I think that there's recognition, and I thought that was very, very good spirit, and always
Good job. I saw the email.
Most appreciated.
Do that, you need time to say good job.
Yes.
There was a sign
I
up
see the wind blows
from
from
the
the
tree farm that donated it.
I
And
saw that, that's nice.
I took a picture of it and put it on their Facebook page, thanking them from us.
I think that the village should write a letter to them and thank them.
Yeah.
I
Write a
agree.
letter to,
The tree farm,
I
for the
also,
donation of the tree.
Yeah.
People that donated that, I think that that's,
It's 4C Tree Farm in South Dayton.
it's most appreciated.
I also wanna put something up about Keith Young too, because his family was a big, big help in putting it together and letting us use their property, and him and I had a long conversation about it prior to what happened, so. Just a nice little dedication to him, maybe,
Definitely.
a little sign or something.
Great.
The other thing I'd like to make a point of,
A sign for in remembrance of Keith.
okay, and a sign where?
With the tree.
With
At the tree? And who's going to make the sign? Do you,
Oh, it's something like that.
okay, well, I'm just thinking
Actually,
I can't, like,
Actually,
No, I
I
wasn't
can't do
gonna
a
make it.
paper sign or something.
No,
because
no,
it's-
no,
you
So-
something
could
nice.
you get with
Okay.
Dickie? Do you think he would do something quick like that for that?
Probably.
Could you? And then just we'll pay whatever. So I think that would be very respectful, real honorable.
What do you want to say?
I don't know.
Say in remembrance of.
Remember Keith Young?
Everybody's friend.
Everybody's friend.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. Very much
Are
so.
we, is it the spot of the tree or from the tree or?
Put it next to the tree, yeah.
But you just, I mean, but why, I mean,
And then it's the same, we could put somewhere else too, if you wanted to, you know what I mean?
so what do you want to say, a memory?
And remember, yeah, in memory of Keith Young, everybody's friend.
How do you spell memory, cause I don't know.
MEMORY.
I think so, yeah, but, you know.
Keith. No, you just want the sign to say
Just let
that,
him know first.
Everybody's friend.
everybody's friend.
I'd like to say here's a Miller Lite to you, but we won't do that.
Okay, 2x2?
No. 2x2 is only. You think we could go? How much would a 4x4 cost?
It's 2x3. 2x3, you get a little.
I'd like people to see it.
Alright.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just
Come
in
on.
good taste.
Yeah, the other zoning.
That came from us. All right. Is there anything else?
Yeah, one other thing, I don't think we've ever had the opportunity in which we've had a legislator here on a regular basis that is now that's going to be the chairman of the legislature.
Remains to be seen.
Pardon?
That will be determined on January 6th.
Okay.
Well, best of luck. Thank you for all your service.
Chairman-elect, I guess, at this point in time.
I don't think we ever had a chairman-elect before.
No,
so
never.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Thank you,
Well deserved.
thank you.
and have a nice Christmas.
Well,
In January, I officially represent you guys, how about that?
yeah.
How about that?
And let's see here. And I have the honor to say that this is our shortest meeting ever. Shortest meeting ever.
Not if you don't quit talking to
It's
me.
2 hours and 22 minutes. Thank you. Make a motion.
You've got a long way to go to beat the all-time county record.
Which is what?
Town of Dayton,
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Really?
We can only hope.
All right.
If it's
Follow,
more
we
than-
can only
If it's
hope.
more than 10, it's a long
Oh,
meeting.
it's 9:23. All right, make the motion to adjourn at 9:23. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, both second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Carried and approved.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Close, I gotta. We're in a meeting 5 minutes, as if 4 people don't show up.
I gotta pay my water bill. I gotta go out to the car.